Hi guys, I am so happy to share this method with you. It's called Feldenkrais. I don't know if you have ever heard of it before. It's a practice that I loved, and I actually tried it also before having pelvic floor dysfunctions. And it just gives you such a great awareness of your body and your mind. The teacher, Lavinia Plonka, she has a program on our platform, which is called The Power of the Pelvis, and it is amazing. It's just mind blowing. Uh, Today, we are going to try this exercise that is called the relationship between your pelvis and jaw. I know many of you have a lot of question about this connection between the pelvis and the jaw, and I just thought that this would be a great opportunity to gain a little bit more knowledge about this relationship through practice, which is the best way. You know, embodiment is so important in healing journeys. So I wanted to have a small introduction from Lavinia herself, what Feldenkrais is and how it's working on you. And after a couple of minutes from her talking, we're going to dive right into the exercise.
The work that you're going to be doing with me is based on the teachings of a man named Moshe Feldenkrais, who developed the Feldenkrais method. And the movements that you'll be experiencing, because this is a somatic-based program, are a little bit different than what you would expect in traditional exercise. You're not going to be working on strengthening your muscles. You're not going to have to do endless reps. And you're also not going to have to imitate anyone or get it right. The interesting thing about the Feldenkrais method is that it's not working with your muscles, it's working with your brain. If you think about it, it's your brain that tells your organs where they belong. It tells you when you need to go to the bathroom. It tells you when you're not feeling safe. It's your brain that's communicating through the rest of you. The interesting thing about the motor part of your brain that deals with your functions and your behavior is that that part doesn't really understand English. You could sit there and talk to your brain all day long, and it's not going to necessarily make a change. What it understands is its experience of movement and sensation, both pleasure and pain, and that's how it learns. So we're going to be using very gentle movements, very easy movements to help you start to reorganize your relationship to your pelvis, your pelvic organs, and your pelvic muscles. This doesn't mean that the other approaches don't have value. It's just that when we look at it from the perspective of the Feldenkrais method, we don't look at just a part. We look at the whole person and how the whole person relates. Because, you know, if you change one thing in your body, you'll change everything that happens because you are a system.
Oh, music to my ears. I just love Lavinia. She's such an amazing teacher. Without further ado, let's dive into the exercise for today. Enjoy it.
So remember when I first introduced the course and I told you that we were going to talk about how different parts of ourselves are connected and intimately related to our use of our pelvis and our pelvic health? Well, today's the first day that we're going to be exploring that, and we're going to look at an area that may seem surprising to you, and that's the relationship between your jaw and your pelvis. Who would think, right, that these things two so far away would actually have a relationship? But there's a relationship in so many different ways that I just wanted to take a moment before we go into the lesson for you to get some ideas. So if you think about even the shape of your lower jaw, you can picture it going across like that and how it's kind of a support for your skull. There are some people that call your jaw your little pelvis because just like here, it's a bony support area. then your jaw joint can kind of connect up with your hip joints as you're thinking about your movement through life. They're both ball joints, right? And then your palate, which is inside of your mouth, is a transverse muscle, just like your pelvic floor is a series of transverse muscles. So again, there's that support area that they move together as you move through your life. Now, some people also have a tremendous amount of tension in their jaws. Some people have something called Tmj Disorder. Your jaw is called your temporomandibular joint. And that tension goes right into your neck and then down your spine and into your pelvis. So when people clench a lot and they're impacting on their neck, giving themselves headaches, they actually tighten up below as well. So then you've got this tension above, tension below, and that muscle being compromised because of all these different areas of tension. When the jaw relaxes, then a lot of times the neck will relax, the lumbar spine will relax, and through that process, your pelvic organs can find their rightful place instead of being squished up or tightened in different ways. So that's just an important way of looking at the connection. So when you start to learn the relationship and learn to relax the jaw, the neck, the lumbar spine, and the pelvis, you can begin to allow your organs to find their rightful place. As we work together in the lesson that you're going to be exploring, you're going to be connecting all these parts. So just like with any of the other lessons, get yourself ready, find yourself a place to lie down. This is another lesson done lying down flat on your back. You can have your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor, or your legs long for the beginning of this lesson. Turn your attention to your face. Does it feel relaxed to you? How does one even begin to sense the face? Let's start by noticing your mouth. Is it open or closed? Are your teeth touching or are they separated? Don't worry about being correct. There is no correct. Just sense how you are now. There's also no incorrect. If your teeth are touching, do they line up? Or does it feel like one part of your jaw is to one side or your teeth line up in a different kind of way? Bring your fingers to touch the little knob of flesh in the middle of your ear. That's called the tragus. And then let your fingers come a little bit in front towards your cheeks and see if you can find your TMJ, your temporomandibular joint. One way to find it is to gently open and close your mouth until you can feel the place where, as you're opening and closing your mouth, the bones of the joint move in and out as your jaw goes up and down. Notice if the two sides of your face feel symmetrical. Sometimes one side feels a little bit lower or higher, or sometimes one side seems to be painful or is clicking, while the other one seems fine. So just notice, don't judge. Now bring your hands down and continue just very gently opening and closing your mouth. Tension in the mouth and jaw can affect many parts of the self, including your pelvic floor, not to mention doing a number on your teeth. Rest a moment. Place your tongue against the roof of your mouth. Your tongue is connecting to your palate at this moment. See if you can spread your tongue out to match the roof of your mouth. And release. A few times just to feel what it's like. Press and release. The muscles of your tongue are some of the most powerful muscles in your body. They connect down through the neck all the way down to your pelvis. You don't have to press hard. Just press and release. Take a rest. As you're resting, notice where your tongue is resting in your mouth. Is it on the bottom? Is it against the roof of your mouth? Notice if it feels like it's in the middle of your mouth, or maybe it's over to one side. Again, don't try to fix it, just pay attention. Bring your awareness down to your feet and to your pelvis. If your legs are long right now, bend your legs and put your feet so that the soles of the feet are flat on the floor. And begin to press with your feet to start the pelvic rock that you learned the other day. As you are rocking your pelvis, begin to let your head move so that your chin moves away from your chest as your tailbone curves up, and then your chin moves down toward your chest as your lumbar spine arches. As you're doing that movement, pay attention to what you feel in your mouth and in your jaw. Don't worry if you don't feel anything. Just play, try it several times, and then rest. Return to sensing your mouth. And begin once again, very delicately, opening and closing your mouth. It doesn't have to be big, just an inch or two, very softly. Notice for yourself whether as you open and close your mouth, your chin goes straight down, or whether it goes a little to one side before going down. Now we're going to put these two movements together. As you begin rocking your pelvis up and down, and as your head is rocking up and down, can you add opening and closing your mouth? Which way feels more natural? To open your mouth as your pelvis is going upward and your chin is moving away, or the other way? There's no wrong answer. Just notice what feels natural for you. Let it go and take a rest. If you feel like you'd like to stretch out your legs for a moment again, feel free. Bend your legs again, and this time we'll do it the same way. So as you rock your pelvis so that your chin moves away from your chest, this time let your jaw open. And then as you go the other way and your lumbar spine comes off the floor and your chin moves down, let your mouth close. Try that movement a couple of times, back and forth, connecting the opening of your mouth with arching your neck and the closing of your mouth with your neck getting longer in the back. Take another pause. So you've been rocking in a way that pushes the spine up into the head and creates a natural movement in your jaw. Now we're going to play with exploring some variations. Let this be fun for you. As you tilt your pelvis so that your tailbone moves up, try bringing your chin down. And as you arch your back, moving your pelvis away, let your chin move away from your chest so that you're arching in the neck. Try that movement a couple of times. It's almost as if you're bringing your pubic bone and your nose to meet each other, and then your chin and sits bones away from each other. Feel how as the two parts come closer and away that you're rounding your back a little bit and then arching your back. As you continue this movement, can you let your mouth be closed as your head and pubic bone come towards each other, and let your jaw open as your pelvis and chin move away from each other? Feel as if you're closing yourself as you fold in and then opening everything as you arch. Back and forth gently, just a couple of times. And then pause and rest. Go back to just opening and closing your jaw a few times and notice what that feels like. If your legs are bent right now, stretch out your legs and sense the length of your spine. Take a few moments to experience the sensations throughout your whole self. Then roll to your side and come on up to standing. You may want to do another postural assessment.